got here? Visa down. Market had a crazy day yesterday. Then it extended up overnight, and now we're kind of back down towards the close. Visa playing like it was wanting to go ahead. TRN with a beautiful day yesterday, gapping down just a little bit today. Let's see how this one goes. What do we got up today? Let's check out the global watch list. MMNFF and CGC at the top. Adobe up here as well. Earnings gapping up 229. That's a good number. Can't argue too much with that. CGC playing games again. All right. That's good. Although the other day it had a good day and then came back and did that, but the next day it was above it. So pick your poison on CGC. You can see there's kind of like a little mini flag slash cup pocket pivot right there. And now we're kind of trying to get off to the races. Maybe some kind of reversal. That could be a spike bottom for CGC. That's a pretty interesting weekly candle. MJ with good volume action, not quite the same. You can see that cup is looks like it was beaten down on the right side. Tesla's up a little bit. Alibaba's floating around neutral. Oh, is this back to my actionable list? Oh, back to the actionable list. Never mind. Thought it was something else. Tesla, Okta, Xilinx, Alibaba. D-Dog 2%. What are you doing here, D-Dog? All right, looks like you're trying to break that low. That trend line right there. A couple moving averages. Broke it yesterday, actually. AMD pulling in, I think it was like a 4 or 5% day for AMD yesterday. Beautiful day, pocket pivot, massive volume. And today pulling back. And we're not really pulling back that much, though, if you look at where the red candle is. So wait to see if the selling stops at some point. It could be an area to buy AMD on a pullback after yesterday's day of goodness. Excuse me. So AMD maybe for a pullback buy. Trend's going green. Ooh, Cena. Oh. Look at that volume this morning on Cena. That looks really good. Looks yesterday like AMD a little bit. Because it's already up 7%. That's a lot. I don't really have a great game plan for Cena, but it's got one of my really long trend lines on the weekly chart. Likely to continue. A measured move out of that would be crazy. Not that it's going to do that exactly. It's up to about 76 or something. Yeah, 76. But this is already a good amount of that distance. Beautiful extension. Yeah, it's already pretty extended. Morning, Rob. Snap to a new snap. Snap is squeezing some converging moving averages. About a 6-month trend line. Double bottom base on this one. Always been a little bit timid with this name. Volume declining pretty nicely here. You can see we're under the average volume, for pretty much like 1 or 2 spikes, slightly above. And so squeezing between that 200 and this downward trending line, that could be an opportunity for Snap. And earnings aren't until February. So that's a possibility right there. That starts poking above a trend line, that could be an opportunity. Although I'm not sure what Snap is up to these days. But 200 period support is pretty good right there. Is that ENDP? Not bad. There's Match.com going very sideways. Holding a low, going sideways. All those moving averages converge. We talked about this the other day. Yesterday with a pocket pivot, another pocket pivot over here. So getting a couple of good signals on Match. Could be for a reversal play. Little curl going on here. And this is getting past, this is a little bit past low entry point, but getting towards potential entry point, even though your good stop down here. Only about 5%. That's not too bad. Matches pull back 35%, slightly deep. But even if you go back up there towards the highs, I don't think that's a bad one. And it's extending. That little curl's going to extend here. And we're going to get up to that 50-day. So we're, like I said, our moving averages are greatly converged here. I wonder if there's a percentage where things are really good. All those moving averages within 4% of each other. That's not bad. So you could argue can appear to about the 85 level at some point where it's 70. I'm not sure how quick it's going to do it, but been pretty good. Only up 2% today. It's manageable. It's not very. They don't have a lot of good options. Literally, the options aren't a lot. There's not a lot of good options for options. The 75 appears to have a good percentage on it. But that's going to reverse higher through some moving averages. That could be a good one. Morning, Justin. Oh, wow, the spreads are stupid on this. That may not be a good play. 285 and $4. That's insane. It's because it's rocketing, that's why. Guess I'll wait a little bit on that one, see what happens. So the market has turned a little bit more green, but the index is still basically that negative 0.3, 0.4 where it's been all morning. Not going very far from that perspective. Trends come back down. Went back to neutral for a second. And came back down. We'll see if we find a coiling day today on trend. MNFF up 16%. Wow, that's expanding really big off the lows. Ooh, that's pretty nice. I didn't notice that. Look at all this volume. Tons of volume here. That could be a reversal. Crossing through two moving averages. We've always found resistance at the 50-day here. We see over here we popped above it a little bit. But other than that, there's the 50-day. You can see the resistance. A little bit to that. That's at about, we're at 63 cents going to 92 cents. That's a pretty good gain right there. That's like 50% just to that 50 period moving average from here, and on all this volume right here. I don't know, that could be an interesting opportunity. That's a lot of volume. Of course, it has also dropped 60%. Now in the base, well, not the base, but in this low area, maybe even under here. So there's the low. Well, there's the actual low, but that's a very slight undercut of this level. So all over here, and then we have expanding volume on the way up yesterday with a very good pocket pivot. Could just be short covering, but could be reversal as well. Yeah, 46% to there, 66% there. And on the weekly chart, that is the most volume since the highs over here. So that could definitely be a reversal area. I've seen us pulled back. See if match is pulled back at all. Yep, match pulled back too. Those options are way too overpriced. And they're still overpriced. $4 to $2.90, still overpriced. Even all the way back down. And there's your 200-day moving average. MJ is not doing too bad. Still holding strong. That could be a capitulation on MJ. Well, that's a top though. That won't be capitulation. Capitulation would be down here, but quite a bit of big red candles and then a nice reversal. MMNFF still extending out. 18%. That could be a crazy pickup. Some good percentages over here, but I don't know about 18%, about 13%. This whole move here is about 30%, 42%. This one's 69%. FTNT, good question. I mentioned the other day about 3 weeks tight pattern. There is a 4 weeks tight pattern. There's no 5 weeks tight pattern. That's just called a flat base. From my experience, these really should get going, third, fourth, maybe fifth week. Past that, then they get a little stale. So they get a little bit stale, but you can't give up on it until the price does what it wants to do. If you've already got it from a lower area, you just hold on to it, no harm, no foul, and you just let it try to do something. Basically, it looks like we're trying to curl up a little bit here on the intraday charts. Let's see, there's a slight curl happening, and volume is declining, and our lows are getting higher. That is a good minor indicative sign of a potential incoming pop. Let's see what Fortinet's given us these days in terms of options opportunities. I've got us up to 120, which doesn't take us too far from where we are, but loosely manageable. That sucks. 35. Yeah, nothing major. Some distribution here yesterday, which is a little bit weird, but I like the declining volume of the past week. So we bounced from 110 or 90 to 106. Got super tight here. I mean, 120 seems reasonable. The question is when moon. Yeah, that's definitely within reason. That measured move takes you up to 126. Yeah, that's a toughie though. 110's not too far. I can do 110. January 110's pretty good. Take an entry position. As long as our spreads aren't insane. And they're not super insane. Definitely still fairly wide, but definitely not insane. Alright, so I just took a entry-level position on Fortinet. I have been liking this name. Super tight. I like the curl action as well. It's slight, but it's there. So that type of position sizing gives me a little more opportunity. And then if it gets a little higher, then I can double or triple that. But so far so good. Trend down 1.15%, coming down significantly. Volume's not too bad though. NASDAQ still playing with the neutral level. Still hasn't really done much at all. Hasn't risen or fallen. Okta 1.7. You're going to find some support down here, Okta. Got some moving average support. There's our convergence of some moving averages. Now we're finding support of, I guess that would be the 200, wouldn't it? Yeah, it looks like it. Some support at the 200 yesterday. We're still not too far away from that. 1.87%. Good volume down here towards the end of the day, too. So there's the low, which is pretty much on the 200. 112.69. 112.59. So we undercut just a little bit. And then rallied back on increasing volume right there. So that looks to be a good indicator. And then a little bit of a gap up after. That's quite a bit of volume for Okta. That's most of the volume of the day. Right there, right those three candles. So we'll see if we're able to hold that, 112.50 level. Declining volume 2. What do you got? AAXN. All right, let's take a look at this one. Okay, not too bad. Oh, this is it. This is one that's at one of my long-term turnaround plays, which I'm not sure if it's on that list or not, but it is now. Yeah, that one's not bad either. I don't know about as much bullish action, but definitely nice tight situation after a nice pop, good gap up on earnings, able to eclipse that high, and we're actually still holding that high. That's acting as support. So yeah, not quite. Doesn't have the curl that Fortinet has. Doesn't quite have that yet. But I'm yeah definitely not mad at this. This is definitely a contender. Oh, I've got that on my list here. I didn't realize that. Okay, AAXN on my list. Turnaround plays and with a little bull flag situation right there. Wish I could give these different highlight colors. Can I do that? I don't know if I can custom color. No. Mark Rowe. Ooh, more info. I've never really seen this before. Earnings. Wow, that looks like stuff. Actual and estimates. So the estimates are getting higher and the actual's getting higher. Oh, I've never seen this in my life. I've been using Thinkorswim for a long time. Hold on a second. All right, I'm back. All right, so actually earnings eclipsing estimates here. Looks like every time it's done that, it's fallen. The earnings have at least. I've never really noticed that. That one's not bad though. Let's take a look at Fortinet, which I don't have highlighted. What are its earnings like? Okay, pretty much above estimates most of the time. And actually, not doing too bad here. I'm not sure what ATM at the money straddle would be my assumption. I don't know what to make of that per se. Options records, maybe. Implied and historical volatility. So that's interesting. And then the stock price around earnings date. Huh. That's kind of cool. Pick a stock symbol above or select it from the list below. Not bad, not bad at all. All right, there's some distribution at that 105, unfortunately. That's why you take an entry-level position. You can afford to watch it get chopped up and not be too concerned. AYX, Okta's, Trend still, Trend's bounced back a little bit. 0.65. Disney. Visa, PayPal, Baba. All right, so we seem to be settling into some kind of a rhythm. Nasdaq is a little bit higher, 0.1%, so holding those gains from yesterday. Yesterday was crazy. Let's go to the Qs to watch the craziness. And so we were here in the morning, and then it just started falling. And I'm like, what the F is going on? And I'm like flipping out a little bit. And it's looking like a major spinning top. We broke above the Bollinger Band. We broke above this high, and we went negative on this chart, at least according to here. We actually went negative. This was a red candle. I'm like, oh crap, that could be a bad spinning top, and the volume was increasing. I'm like, oh, this ain't looking too good. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a little bit of room. We'll see what it does. Then I come back and it's like up pretty good. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then it just keeps going up. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. And everything had a big volume day. AMD was a great great volume day yesterday for AMD. Just huge volume yesterday. That to me shows just a lot of accumulation. So hopefully good for AMD. We mentioned a pullback this morning, and yeah, we're right about where we were talking about it earlier, but it spiked down a little bit more. So AMD not too bad here as it's fighting to get above that prior high. ACB, Justin? Well, actually a lot of the MJ names, now that we had that spike the other day, a couple of weeks ago, we had that huge spike and they've settled out. Now they all have a higher low like this, and they're starting to maybe curl up. MMNFF looks arguably the best. It has a really good price percentage gain today, up 13%. Not quite the same pattern, but a huge volume. You can see it on the weekly chart. There's like four or 5 weeks of massive volume down here. Now, there is a lot of price progress downwards. You talk about high volume with not a lot of progress. This is 63% of progress, so it's not all buying bliss. But that's just a massive volume area indicating a washout area potentially, and then two big days, and now could be a third day of a large volume action. MJ showing similar decent signs. So here's one where you have the low, and then we have kind of a topping candle actually. But so far we're putting in a rounding bottom situation here, and we're still underneath the 200 period moving average. We've moved above a couple of these. So it's not, actually I think it's the 50. Yeah, there's the 200. We're still below the 50-day moving average. So we're still not back into a bull market. You're definitely trying to catch a falling knife down here if that's something you want to buy. But you could go in with a smaller position size and just kind of see what happens with it. And I don't think that would be the end of the world. But, smaller position size, something you're comfortable with this dropping, at least 7%, maybe down as much as 11%. So you can see lower volume here. That not quite a pocket pivot, but a 5-day pocket pivot. And so it's decent price action. There's possibilities of turnaround in this at this stage of the game where there wasn't over here. But if this is just short covering, we could have basically a fool's rally and then roll back over. One of the things I'm thinking about for MJ is maybe the sector is just so beaten down. We're down like 55% on the ETF for marijuana, that they're just looking, if they're thinking the market's going to run, they're looking for beatdown plays to put money into. So they're not necessarily going to accumulate it as aggressively as they would traditionally a growth stock, but maybe you got some people that buy, stuff like that, assets on some deep discounts that have potential, and maybe that's some of that. But like I said, this could just be short covering right here, this big rally. But regardless, there's a nice little pivot point here on MJ, which I think is probably pretty important. And we failed it once right there. And we're still, like I said, still not above the 50 days. So on the intermediate term time frame, we're bearish overall, and that would go for ACB as well. Still under its trend line. Pretty extended though, pretty extended from the trend line and the 50-day moving average. So you can see here the high volume basically dissipated as of here or here. Now we're kind of in a low volume. This one arguably could be a pocket pivot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So not quite a pocket pivot, almost a pocket pivot, definitely a 5-day pocket pivot. And then here's another 5-day pocket pivot. So yeah, a couple of interesting signs, but getting played with here today. If you want to do these, definitely I think smaller position sizes. Don't get massively aggressive with these. These are a little bit of a gamble at this point. How aggressive are you at Vegas? If you got 10 grand at home, what do you take to Vegas? I don't know, I would take like $300. I don't like gambling. I do this every day. ZTO, AYX. All right, let's take a walk down on the actionable list. Cena, D-Dog trying to make a comeback today. Able to extend up out of a low area. There's kind of a high volume bottom. Very weird bottom. But it is a red day. Yeah, that's a weird bottom. And then a turnaround the following day. This is today already pretty good volume. It's already showing up. We're about 40% of yesterday's volume. That could be average, if not more. So it could be a turnaround play here for D-Dog. And that red line is our resistance currently. And that's a good 10% higher. So I can't be too mad at that. Snap maybe with a nice potential reversal here over that trend line, squeezed by the 200 period moving average. GNC, not too bad. Could come around. AYX, nothing to do. Regeneron still poking higher. ZTO trying to figure out what gender it wants to be today. Melly not looking too bad. Whoops, where'd Melly go? I don't know. I just lost. Oh, there's Melly. Regeneron Okta trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. Match.com pulled back pretty hard. But with a nice little reversal pattern here. Nothing extraordinarily bullish, but looking pretty good. We definitely have kind of flattened out in terms of our bottoms. We've stopped going lower and we started going sideways. And so it could be in a potential reversal area here for Match. KG. We already moved on, Rob. We already moved on. What are you doing to me? Slightly different signature. In terms of long-term support, we don't have, well, we should have some here. Should have some there. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. It may follow the MJ sector. We were following this one. I don't remember exactly its behavior. This is, if I remember right, this is the real estate play. So it has a slightly different spin on the MJ sector, but it, I don't know. Maybe going from 4 to 9 or even up to here at 9 cents at this 200 period moving average. I mean, that's pretty good. That's a double from, it says right there, 4.5 to 9.0. So that would be a double. And I mean, maybe, but you do have to have a stop on these things. I'm a firm believer in that. And your stop here is about 30% lower. So I'm not sure if I want to jump on that train. Yeah, risk reward on some of that stuff. Just not quite there yet. Twilio. What are you up to, Twilio? Long time no see. So you're trying to hold a low. You've already bounced up to the 50-day moving average. Failed at the 50 days. Chopping up these moving averages now. So now we're going to get these moving averages converging in the next week or so. Maybe less than that. So that could be an entry area for Twilio with some moving average convergence. Looks like it's loosely trying to turn a corner with a looks like a 5-day pocket pivot yesterday right there. Oh, that's interesting. Those KG drinks? You got to find out what's driving that stock. Was it just, and that's sometimes hard to do. I don't have all the research tools. Oh, NASDAQ 0.57%. We popped up. Look at that. Twilio starting to get a little bit. We just saw that pop up a little bit, popping up a little more. Yeah, maybe a interesting turnaround area for Twilio. Not quite an undercut and rally. Mentioned a 5-day pocket pivot yesterday in Twilio. Right there. Just a little guy. And this could be an interesting entry point for Twilio. Not super on board quite yet, but you can see the 50-day moving average reducing its slope, getting a little more bullish. So we could bounce out of this at any day. We have a low, we have a higher high or a higher low, and then we're pretty close to that 50 days. So it'd be kind of an aggressive entry here on Twilio, but you could look for it maybe to get up towards this 120 level, which is 200 period moving average, in whatever time frame that would take. I don't know. Yeah, this is the 120 for Twilio too. Okay, so all right, so 120 for Twilio, maybe by January. What's the standard January option here? The 17th. That's a huge gain. Not sure it's going to do that, but by the 17th, I won't say that's out of the realm of possibility. It's not bad. I could take a smaller position size on that one. It's like a 500% gain. Pretty tight in terms of its spread as well. Yeah, I could take a pretty small position size here. That's a pretty ballsy play. Let's see what happens if it doesn't quite get there. So it gets to 110. I think I've got an adjustment to this options tool that would be pretty good. Yeah, that would be pretty good. I like it. Okay, so let's take a look at the 100. 100 is not too bad. Well, that's pretty good, Rob. It's coming from nothing, so let's all right, I'm gonna put on this Twilio trade, I think. Maybe I'll give it this Nasdaq's going for it here. Look at it extending up there. There's a little curl forming on the Nasdaq that could be very explosive. TRN back up. Twilio. I like this. I'm gonna take this Twilio trade. I'm just gonna do it. Definitely a smaller trade, but it gets my feet wet. Yeah, tiny guy, but not a bad guy. Okay, let's take a look at well, see, for me, TQQQ is something you can add to. This isn't, you're playing this for a general run. You don't know how far this is going to go, so you just go with it. So if you're not in already with the position you're comfortable with, yeah, I think you can add to a position. Yes, this isn't like a normal stock. You shouldn't trade this like a normal stock. This is a longer term play. And we're in an all-time high, so we're in an uptrend. So yeah, you can play it. Absolutely. This isn't something you only buy in pullbacks. This is like a retirement type of a strategy for me. So anytime you get some money you're going to put in the market and you don't want it to be super crazy, TQQQ, I think, at least for me, I trade options, so 3 times ETF is nothing. But yeah, I mean, if you've got money to put to work and you don't know where to put it, TQQQ used to be my go-to when I didn't know what to do with my capital. If I didn't see any opportunities, I would just stick it in the TQQQs. And then when I saw an opportunity, I would actually sell some of that position, and then I would, bring it back. So TQQQ was almost like my cash. Can't do that anymore with this particular account for some reason, but And Twilio, little bit more green. Steady volume this morning as well. I actually like that action. That's pretty good. I almost feel like I'm a little too small on Twilio. I'm really small on Twilio. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, it's 8:10. Shoot, I gotta get going. Darn it. Good times today. So look for undercut and rallies. Look for those ones that are low, trying to come up. Sometimes they can be a little risky, but you can get some really good rewards. Las Vegas Sands yesterday ended up working out really well, breaking out of that flat entry point. Tesla's still working. Restoration Hardware in a pullback area. This could be an opportunity to look at the close yesterday. This could be a nice option for a buy back to the 10-day moving average. Yeah, that could be a good buy right there. Let's look at that trade. Restoration Hardware. Even just to get back to those recent highs, we haven't really bounced yet, so the possibility of us getting back to 243 is likely, and arguably within a shorter term time frame. Yeah, I'm not too mad at that. All right, I'm going to put that one in too. So this one I can go in with. That's still pretty good from a 21-day perspective. A lot of holidays are coming up. That's kind of something, especially with options, I think you got to take into consideration. So I don't know, but Restoration Hardware recently has shown leadership. I'm going to run with this one too. So it's breaking over that. Yeah, I'm going to play that it gets back to the highs there at 243. And does it relatively quickly. So December 27th, how many trading days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe only 7 trading days to get back up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that's where the options really screw you because you're paying for some of those holidays. So that's a toughie. And then even with the new year coming up, so what do you say? 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's a half day. 9, 10, 11, 12. If I give it to the 3rd, that's 12 trading days. That's still not too bad. Yeah, let's do 227, 103, 227. Fidelity side down, really? Wow. Oh, 3, 227. Now the spread's a little wide. Not that bad though. I'm just gonna spread some market joy around here and just take a bunch of these little pot shot positions. Nice little pullback to the 10-day here, lower volume. This day has elevated volume, but if you look at it yesterday, look at that yesterday, tons of volume down here at the bottom, and able to hold it right now as well, and able to get over that low. So could be an interesting opportunity. Oh, I got filled like crap on that one. What the hell? These things better freaking work. I'm usually not this active, but some of these opportunities down here as things are looking pretty good are pretty good. TRN's up on the top of our list now, 0.66% higher. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, see, I think with the TQQQ, Rob, just for future reference, you get that as early as you can, and then you just hold it. So if you want to, like, I've got about 50% of my account in the TQQQ, and then the rest of it I trade options and stuff with. So I get that 50% as early as I can, and then I usually don't add to it. I'm trying to trying to be better with my options plays, so I'm trying not to lean on the TQs so much per se. Not that I lean on them, but you know what I mean. All right, I got to roll, guys. We'll see what the market does. Hopefully, we'll see if we get a repeat of yesterday with a crazy market sell-off in the middle of the day. That would suck. Yesterday we started that at about 8:30, so that's coming up very shortly. So I don't know, maybe just bought a bunch of stuff at the highs. Who the hell knows? As we start to get a little bit of sell-off here in the market. Exactly same thing happened yesterday. I don't know. We'll have to see if the rinse and repeat thing is going to happen. That's a nice buy yesterday. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the markets. But all right, guys, I got to get out of here. I'll see you on Monday. Yep, I'll see you on Monday for another full week of trading. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.